Something big is happening right now that could completely shock the United States. This is actually causing many people to panic. Millions of people are highly concerned. Cities are warning that something could happen very soon that could cause them to lose benefits and start making cuts. We are seeing so many different things right now, and I want to explain what's going on, but it has to do with President Biden considering amnesty for about 20 million people. So I'm going to break down what's going on, why he's discussing this now, and what the future could look like here in the United States. So make sure you stick around for this entire video. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So amnesty for 20 million people currently in the United States. Well, that is what they're discussing. But the big concern is what happens to all the people that are still attempting to get into the United States, that want to be here, whether they're going to claim asylum or not. They want to be in the United States. Many of which say they're just here to work, make some money, and create a life for themselves. Well, here's the concern. There are still terrorists out there. There are sleeper cells here in the United States, and the concern right now has to do with ISIS-K. They are attempting to make their way into the United States to create a life for themselves, and when activated, then they will attack the United States from within. But let's get to this report on amnesty. Let's listen to this right here. This is from a border official. Just listen to what he has to say.
But as long as we continue to talk about that, as long as there's discussion about an amnesty, you're going to continue to see people crossing our borders illegally. That talk has to stop until we get our borders under control. Once you get that, then you could potentially start talking about DACA. But it's very dangerous to talk about it while our border is completely and totally open.
So right there, he's saying that we can talk about DACA. And this is a program for people that have been in the United States that have come in when they were minors. Anyway, he says we can talk about this, but if the safety of the American people is at risk because we are considering an amnesty program in a time where our borders are pretty much wide open. We do not know how many people entered into the United States last month. We don't know. We have an estimate. We have an estimate from December of 2023 where we were told that over 300,000 people entered the United States illegally. Guess what? We have no clue how many people entered in 2023 or so far in 2024. The numbers are just estimates. That's all it is. But I want to show you this. I want to read you this. It says the Biden considering granting amnesty and handing out green cards to illegal immigrants. This is according to a report from 3 people that told Politico. Politico is, they put out pieces that they get a lot of different people to interview. They get a lot of people that are going to give them insight into what Congress is doing at this time. But a lot of it's off the record. They're not going to name who said it. But I want to read you this. It says, the administration could start doling out green cards to illegal immigrants who have long stayed inside the United States, thereby giving them amnesty to stay in the country, says 3 people familiar with the planning told Politico. Goes on to say, the plan would grant migrants who have been in the country for more than 10 years access to the cancellation of removal program provided that they have relatives who would suffer if they were deported. I want to touch on something. When you talk about a family member suffering, it could be something as simple as this person needs a ride to their doctor's appointments. Let's say my uncle needs a ride to his doctor appointment, or my nephew needs a ride to school, right? This person would be heartbroken and depressed if I were to leave the country, right? Something as simple as that. That is what they're talking about when it comes to suffering. Goes on to say, migrants could then receive a green card, a permanent resident grant, if they meet the cancellation of removal requirements and an immigration judge rules in their favor. That's all it's going to take. But again, the reason why I bring this up is because of the steps that are in place. You need an immigration judge to rule in your favor. Well, you know how you do that? You get more judges. You hire more judges. That's all it takes. And then you, if your relative says they would suffer, all you got to do is change the rules. Change what would you consider suffering, right? That's it. That's all you have to do. And that's why so many people are extremely worried about what's going on right now. And that's why they say something big is about to happen. But look at this. It says thousands of migrants set to arrive in massive El Paso-bound caravan in just a few days. This is going to happen any day now. We're going to see thousands and thousands of people try to get into the United States through El Paso. It's going to happen, and it could be, a decent thing. Now, I want to say one last thing, okay? Because what is happening is going to completely change the way the United States is going to operate. Here's what we talked about 3 weeks ago. I told you guys that this border crisis is causing concern in many cities because of the census. It says right here, the border crisis has completely upended Census Bureau's population stats, according to a report. Now, I want to read you one last thing, okay? Because what is happening right now is the Biden administration is considering giving some additional assistance to cities that are struggling, to states that have offered assistance and granted and pretty much accepted illegal immigrants. Just look at this right here. It says one idea the administration has mused is increasing support to states and cities that have taken in a high number of illegal immigrants, such as Denver, Colorado, and New York City. Here's what's going to happen. If a city were to bring in a lot of illegal immigrants, the Biden administration is considering giving more aid to that city, provide you with more federal funding. That's what they're discussing. That's what they're talking about. And so in the end, guess what? Who is going to benefit because of illegal immigrants coming in? The illegal immigrants are going to benefit. The city's going to benefit because they get more funding. The state will likely benefit. But you know who else benefits? Most likely Democrats. Because according to reports, the first time a migrant can go and vote, they normally vote for Democrats. 7 out of 10 times that happens. Well, guess what? Which states are people being accepted into? New York, Democratic state. Illinois, Democratic state. California, a Democratic state. Oregon, Washington, Democratic states. You get the picture. So what we are about to see is the United States is going to change forever. We're going to see massive changes all across the board. It will come from the more local level, the state level, and the federal level. We're going to see changes all over the place. But I just wanted to share this with you because like I did a few weeks ago when we talked about the census and how the Biden administration is trying to get all immigrants counted in the census. By doing that, that will change some of the electoral college votes. That will change some of the additional voting things in the future. But again, these are all just the subtle changes, small little changes that if you don't put them all together, it might not mean much. But if you put all these together and realize what's going on, the U.S. is going to change forever. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is that is really all we know. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.